In this session, we're going to talk about how our results come to be and what drives those outcomes and results that we have in our life, the ones we love and the ones we like to see change, right? So often people wonder, what comes first? Did the thinking about something come first? Did the way I feel about something come first? Did the action come first? And then I started rationalizing the behavior, because a lot of times that's how it shows up for people. It's like we do something that we understand isn't going to produce the result we want, like we're eating something that's never going to create vitality. And it's like, man, I just can't seem to stop eating those cookies. Or, we're critical of our significant other and then we feel bad about the way we diminish or treat them or our children afterward. And we look at our behavior and we go, man, I did that thing out of nowhere, it seems. And then I think about it and I feel a certain way about it. And so does the action come first and then, our way of relating to it, right? Our process around it. And the reality is this isn't a debate. If we look at science, the action was last, okay? We may not have been in touch with, and we may not have done the training required to, be aware of the mechanisms that are going on within our inner matrix and our inner pattern dynamics, and we might not have caught those inner dynamics before we took the action, and therefore the action's happening and then we're reflecting on the action. But if we do a little bit of training and we learn how, you can 100% catch the origin of all behavior and results. The origin of all behavior and results is emotion, the way that we feel. Then those emotions are active, they are activated, whether they're love-based states such as joy and peace, serenity, love itself, etc., or fear-based states, sadness, anxiety, agitation, shame and guilt, whatever those may be. The emotion is activated in our nervous system, meaning we're in the experience of the emotion. Then that emotion defines how the mind is going to think. The emotion tells the mind what's to think. Just like when you get in your car and you drive your car, you turn the wheel right, you turn the wheel left. Emotion drives the thought. It tells the direction. It tells the mind what direction to think and what quality of thoughts to think, what types of thought to think within a range relative to that specific emotion. Emotional intelligence in a very direct way, in a very literal fashion. And then after those emotions drive and tell the mind what direction to think, the mind then reinforces the same emotion. Then we ultimately take action. We make choices, we make decisions, we do things as a byproduct of the emotion and the thought. And then ultimately we repeat actions over time and they become our outcomes and our results. And so if we understand and learn how to reverse engineer this process, you can look at any current result that you're getting, say a result or an outcome you'd rather not have continue, you'd like to see change, and you can reverse engineer that. You can go, well, what are the things I'm doing that are producing that result? How am I thinking prior to taking those actions? And what's the emotion that is motivating that process? And then we can create a new pattern dynamic, which is going to translate to a new result and ultimately different actions as a byproduct of that re-engineering of our inner pattern dynamics that exists with our inner matrix. And then same thing, you can look at results that you're getting that you really love. And you can go, man, I'm getting this result. Here are the consistent actions I'm taking relative to that result. Here are the thoughts that are occurring prior to the action. And here's the emotion that's motivating the behavior. And by reverse engineering the process, you start to learn and understand how to predict your future. Many times people are very surprised when I look at them and I say, listen, if we have a 5-minute conversation and I ask you 3 or 4 questions about any aspect of your life, physical well-being, financial, abundance or financial well-being, relationship, etc., I can predict where you'll be in 5 years, 10 years down the road if your pattern dynamics don't change. And I can do it with extreme accuracy because when you understand pattern, you understand outcome. And so it's not a magic process. It really is just sort of cause and effect. When we do this, that happens. And so if we come to understand the power in this, we can realize, if I want to create an outcome or a result that I've never known before, I can just create the pattern dynamics that are needed to produce the outcome, and I can create it from the inside out, just like clockwork. I can kind of guarantee myself the result and the outcome. And so it's not a chicken or egg conversation. Like if we look at the nervous system and how it's developed, emotions come first. Right? Your first few years of life, you felt emotions, as we've talked about in previous training, and then those emotions were there for years before language occurred, and you had the ability to think inside of language, because we don't really learn proficiency of language until, we're 8 years old, right? Like 5 to 10 is where we really start understanding language and comprehending at a sophisticated level. And then obviously it continues beyond that. And so you had emotions there first, then thoughts occurred, then actions preceded the emotion thought, right? And so then that's how things get lined up. So if we want to take different action that produce different outcomes, it really is 90% of focusing on how do we access the emotions and the thoughts relative to the influence of the new behavior we want to take. And when you get good at that, you can influence yourself to do just about anything. And so just start thinking about yourself as a human or a person who engages life through the dynamics of patterns that start inside and then become external behaviors, and just start paying attention and ask the questions in that order. How do I feel right now? What is the mind thinking right now? What is occurring to me to do right now? What result will that produce? And just get inside that conversation a little bit, and you'll train the ability to see yourself in a different way and create a different understanding of why you do what you do and how to direct new behavior. Hey, what am I feeling right now? What's the mind thinking? What's occurring to me to do? What action do I want to take? And then at the end of the day, what outcome is that likely to render? And if you just create an awareness process like that, oftentimes awareness starts nudging transformation all by itself. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you soon in a future session.